This is part 9B. I apologize. My phone died in the middle of recording, and since I hit 40 subs, I figured, hey, might as well just upload this and just do a second part. So we're gonna get into it where we last left off. Izuku was talking to Kirishima about like the body weights and stuff he's been wearing, and he got up to about 600 kg, which is over 1,000 pounds. And Izuku was like, you should kind of plateau right there, because if you go any further, you can do some damage and like you can stunt your growth and all this other stuff. And Kirishima says, well, you do a lot more. And Izuku explained to him, well, that's because of my quirk. Basically gives me like super strength, and that's the only way for me to really train my quirk for the strength aspect of it. And Izuku like kind of tells him, he's like, well, you probably have done enough weightlifting and stuff, like using body weights and stuff. Like you should probably just use them when you like lift weights, like do like maybe 40 kg per item while you're lifting weights or like jogging or something, and then just like power lift and stuff like that, because like now you just need to work on adapting your quirk. And Izuku's like, one moment. He walks to Ashido and everything, and the owner of the gym, and he asks he says, excuse me, but how strong are these walls? And the owner kind of looks at Mizuku and is like, um, 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 I don't think they can take one of your punches, Izuku. And Ashido kind of looks at at the owner of this gym, and he's like, it can take a lot of force, but I don't think it can take a full hit from you. And he's like, it may be able to take 25% of your max. And Izuku's like, yeah, I only need 12. And so he's like, can you guys kind of like leave the room for like a minute or so? And like they do, it's like, go, like, and he tells Shido, you might want to look at this. And so he comes back over to Kirishima, who's like just doing some squats and stuff like that. And Izuku's like, are you warmed up yet? And like, he's like, yeah. And like Izuku just like kind of grabs like his shirt, hit the belt and like the ankles and stuff off of him, and just kind of like rips him off. And he's like, okay, now like go like use your quirk and, pardon language, but get as hard as you can. And Kirishima was like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna punch you. And Izuku's kind of smiling at him like, I'm gonna punch you. And Kirishima like used his quirk hardening and got as hard as he could. And Izuku punched him with a force, and basically a torrent of wind ring throughout the whole thing, and like he actually hit Kirishima. And Izuku's like, did you feel that? And Kirishima's like, no. And he's like, well, you know how when you were training on the beach with me and everything, I was only using 1% of my strength. I'm using 12 times the amount of strength that I was using on the beach. And then Kirishima just kind of looks at Izuku, And Izuku's like, yeah, your strength is fine. And your stamina's like built up, so you just need to work on your quirk, like more. And Kirishima's like, wow, that really did worked out. And he's like, yeah, like, don't go around like saying it, but that was like kind of the best type of training that you could possibly have done with your quirk. And I was kind of going to stop you at 500 kg and tell you to work on your quirk, but you kind of went a little overboard on it. So you might have stunted your growth a little bit. And Kirishima is like, oh, okay. And he's like, so Izuku is like, so what you need to do now, since you have some strength to back up your quirk, and if your quirk fails, just like do strength training with just free weights and stuff, like, just doing normal exercises. Because I have kind of plateaued with like how much I can use as far as body weights go, because like I can't go any higher. Like it just doesn't, like, it's ineffective, and it's not effective anymore for me. Like, it's better if I train my quirks and then use my quirks to like actually strengthen my muscles and my bones and everything. And Kirishima was like, so what's that about and everything? And he's like, well, I kind of have like two different types of enhancer quirks, and if I use them both at the same time, it can cause a lot of damage to my body. And Kirishima's ass is like, just like in the, and Izuku is like, yeah, just like in that. So Kirishima's like, oh, wow. And so Kirishima is, him and Ashido like spend the day working on their quirks and stuff like that. And Ashido gets like a permission slip form from them like when they leave, and Izuku smells like a familiar scent, and he's like, this person again, what is it this time? And he just finds like a letter on top of the gym addressed to him, and it says like, I'm sorry about leaving so abruptly the other day, but I had to go, otherwise it would have been putting you in danger. And this kind of gets Izuku thinking. He's like, who could this person be? It's not mom, because she's too young, and as far as I know, like, I don't have any family around my age. I know I don't have any siblings at all. I know that for a fact, like blood relatives that are siblings. I know that for a fact. Could she possibly be like a cousin or something? And this is just going on in his head after reading this. But the letter also says you need to work on your quirk control, because it's sorely lacking. And this is really iterates what he kind of like starts thinking, like, maybe if I do this, this, and this, like basically taking one for all, because like he doesn't really need to keep it on. He decides to like just keep it on at like constantly on at 1%, and then just raise up the power when he needs to. So he just starts and so like that's how he starts. And this person is going to play a role later on. So we skip to the next day. This is a couple of days before then. And Ashido now has the acid pump technique like down. She got a few more pointers from like Deku, and like the pro really helped her out to like kind of understand how her quirk works. And on accident, she kind of splashed Kirishima when with their acid, and Kirishima like it's like, oh, that kind of hurt, and like Ashido kind of runs over to him. He's like, I'm sorry, and Kirishima's like, it's fine, I'll be fine. Good thing I had that quirk on at the time, otherwise that would have hurt a lot more. And Izuku kind of just walked up to him, put his hand on his back, and like basically healed him. And Ashido kind of looks at it, and she's like, "Whoa!" And so we're going to the next day, and see who. Let me look at these notes. See, how I script my things is I write down my notes. Where did I put my bag? But, okay. So, Izuku, like, calls up Momo and Kendo and asks them, so what are you guys doing for training and everything? And they're like, well, we kind of want to like train separately from each other because we kind of have a thing going on. We have like we kind of like want to have a little competition with the sports festival. And Izuku's just sitting there like, dang, like Katsuki's like hanging out with Uraraka. Shinzo is working out with Aizawa Sensei, learning how to use that dang scarf of his, and he's just trying to think. He's like, who can he hang out with? Because this is the first time he's basically had no one to like hang out with his whole life, because like him and Katsuki have basically been around each other almost their entire lives. And when he's not with Katsuki, he's with one of his other friends, or he's with Mitsuki and his family. So he's thinking, and he's like, wait, I wonder if. And he calls up All Might, and he asks All Might, and he's like, all right, Sensei, do you think you can get me in touch with Todoroki and everything? So he gets him in touch with Todoroki, and Todoroki kind of tells him off. He's like, I don't want to like train with you, like I want to like prove that I can do this on my own. And Izuku kind of tells him, he's like, yo man, like you need to work on that fire side, because all I've seen is your cold side, and your quirk is your own quirk. And he kind of like explains how his quirk, when his quirk manifested, like he didn't know how to control it, and he basically like it kind of mutated. Like he developed like somewhat of a small, like when he bonds with people, he kind of like overdid it, and it mutated his quirk, and he's never been able to like do that ever again, which we all know is a freaking lie. And so Todoroki is thinking about this, and it, like the day before the sports festival, like he goes up to Endeavor, and he's like, Dad, he's like, Endeavor, I still don't like you, but I need help with my fireside, and if you don't, and if you want to act like the way that you have been, I don't want anything to do with you. This isn't me accepting you. This is me needing someone that is good at a fire quirk to learn how to control mine. And since you're the number 2 hero, you're the best candidate for it. And it basically Izuku Taka no Jutsu Todoroki into like accepting his fire side. Like more so, he was like more convincing because Izuku's like, yeah, my power is technically kind of borrowed from other people, and I had to accept that my quirk is my own quirk, and the aspects that I gain from other people, and he said, and this is what really got Todoroki to listen, because Todoroki is like, you don't know what it's like being the child of a hero and all this other stuff, and Izuku's like, you know, Todoroki, I actually do. My mom died when I was younger for being a hero. And Todoroki is like, what do you mean? Like, your last name's Bakugo. There's like no heroes that were named Bakugo in the past 60 years. And Izuku is like, have you ever wondered what the M in front of Bakugo means on my name? And he's like, what? And he's like, my original last name was Midoriya. And then Todoroki kind of like, wait, you're... And he's like, yeah, my mom's shield maiden. And I've had to learn I've had to live with that. I've been like hiding it because I don't want people treating me differently. But Todoroki, your quirk is your own quirk. Like, you can't have your own thing. And he goes into like my brother Katsuki and my sister Katsuri, like they have pretty much the same quirk, except Katsuki's is more advanced than Katsuri's. And we're trying to make sure she doesn't develop with this complex about like her quirk. Because when we were younger, we didn't have control of our quirks and we hurt people. So, like, you need to learn how to do your fire side. And you need to start using your fire, because if you only use half your strength in battle, it's just going to be a war of attrition with you, because I've noticed in school that you slow down after using your ice for too long. And I theorize if you use your fire in congruent with your ice side, you can regulate your body heat. So he basically is talking no jutsuing like the hell out of Todoroki. And he's like, Izuku, I don't want to train with you, but I appreciate it, man. Because Todoroki's not a dick like Katsuki was in the original. He's daddy issues poster child. So Izuku's like, well, dang, if I can't do anything with Todoroki. And then he's like, wait a minute. It's been a while since I've hung out with Denki. So he calls Denki up, and Denki is like, wait, what? You want to hang out? And he's like, I thought you were just friends with Kirishima. And then Izuku's like, nah, man, I think of you as a friend too. And I actually quite liked hanging out with you and Kirishima. And he's like, and Dinky's like, I thought you only hung out with me because you're friends with Shinzo and Kirishima. And he's like, no, that's not the case, man. And also I've noticed I kind of have some ideas about your quirk. Is there any way that we can meet up tomorrow? And Dinky's like, yeah, sure, man, that's awesome. I've kind of been wanting to talk to you, but you just seem kind of backseat. Like, he didn't really like want to talk to people, and like he only hung out with me because of interactions, because of me hanging out with Shinzo and Kirishima, and then you just happened to show up to hang out with one of them. And so, like, in the next part, we're going to cover the last couple of days of the sports leading up to like the day of the sports festival. And with that, enjoy. Leave a comment and subscribe. Any critiques of this are welcome. But if you're malicious about it, it will get deleted. Have a nice day.